Hello and welcome to the Vinyl Sanctuary. My name is Christian and I hope that you will join me in taking refuge in records. So I'm here today with my first video of January 2025, the new year. It's here now, it's all underway, and I'm looking at some records that I've acquired over the Christmas New Year period. So new year, new vinyl. I've decided to do this over two parts, as I got 14 pieces in total, and I just thought just to split them into two lots of seven would be an easier way to do it and make the videos a bit shorter. Well, that's the plan anyway. And also because at the moment I am waiting on a few of the records to arrive in the post. So wherever I possibly can, I always buy from local traders, local shops, independent sellers, and that's been the case with these records, but I'm just now waiting for a few of them to pop in the mail to me now. So this should be with me any day at the time of recording. So as soon as they've arrived and I've had a chance to give them a spin and take a look at them, then I'll be delighted to present them here on the channel. But I've got 7 pieces here to show today that I'm really chuffed to bits with. I'm over the moon to now be the proud owner of. One in particular, I'm just so delighted about, I can't even tell you, and I will be showing that one at the very end. I have intentionally left that one there to the end just because I'm so thrilled to be the owner of it. And I would say that of the 14 that I'll be showing over these two videos, that one here that I'll be showing you at the end of today is my favourite one, as much as I've loved and do love all the others I've got as well. I'm feeling very lucky, very blessed to have received so many lovely records. I've got my family to thank for that. They've been wonderful, and they said that they wanted to support me, you know, with getting me some bits and pieces that they know or knew that I had my eye on, and they've been very supportive of the fact that I've now got the channel, and I think they just wanted to give my collection a little bit of a boost. So thank you very much to all the family for being so kind and generous. I do really appreciate it. Okay, so before I get into the music, there was a few little bonus pieces that I got from my wife that were to do with the channel. Michelle, my wife, and that they're just really sweet, little thoughtful extras that she got me alongside a few records as well. So I wanted to show them off. So on Christmas Day morning, before I got to the vinyl shaped presents that I could see under the tree, there was a few little extras that I didn't have any knowledge or idea of. So the first one that I opened was this lovely pen from Michelle. So as you can see, she's had the Vinyl Sanctuary logo put on there. And being a professional writer, I'm always very keen and very much in support of having a pen close to hand. So I couldn't think of a more perfect pen to now have than that. So that was really kind of her to get me that. And then also I was also given this mug too, which has got the Vinyl Sanctuary logo on again, as you can see there on both sides. So with the cold weather that we've had here at the start of 2025, that has been used considerably already. I've had quite a few hot drinks in there to keep me going, so that was lovely as well. And then thirdly, finally, and this was the biggest surprise of all really, because it was surreal opening these things and seeing, you know, my own logo, like my own creation, if you will, on there. But I was also gifted as well, I have to stand up for this one, this lovely t-shirt with the Vinyl Sanctuary logo on there as well, as you can see, and it's in dark blue, the t-shirt itself, which is my favourite colour. So yeah, I was really thrilled to bits to be given those Vinyl Sanctuary related bits and pieces. So thanks very much, Michelle, for doing that. So yeah, I just wanted to show those off too. So we'll get into the music then. So starting us off today, my first piece I'm going to show is the rather wordy Pop-Up Ka-Ching and the Possibilities of Modern Shopping. That's the title. And the band is Mozart Estate. So Mozart Estate is the new name for the band Go-Kart Mozart, which is led by the one and the only Lawrence. And there he is there, a rather moody black and white shot with his trademark cap on there against the wall. And this has been brought out on West Midlands Records, which is Lawrence's own little subsidiary label that he has under Cherry Red. So there we go. So yeah, it's a really nice album, this one. My copy here, as you can see on the hype sticker, is limited edition red vinyl. And yeah, it's novelty rock, which is the phrase that Lawrence has coined for this type of music that Mozart Estate trades in, and that was the same sound that he was doing as well with Go-Kart Mozart. So there's a lot of synth pop in here, some guitar in bits and here and there, but it is more synth led, sort of squelchy, blips and bleeps and noises throughout. And it's really a marriage of socially conscious lyrics, songs that are discussing the state of the nation, poverty, society in general. Some of it's quite dark in places as well lyrically, but it's always coupled with this rather jaunty, upbeat musical style. And in the past, Lawrence has described Go-Kart Mozart, now Mozart Estate, as being like the world's first B-side band. He sort of sees the music as being something, from the other side, really, if you will, in that way. And yeah, he's also referred to the sound as being novelty rock as well. So yeah, favourites on here. Relative Poverty, track number 2, is superb. That's actually a re-recording of a track that is featured on a previous Go-Kart Mozart album. But according to Lawrence, this version on here is now the definitive version of that song. Poundland on here is very good as well. I'm Gonna Wiggle, which is the opening track, is very strong. It is good throughout, to be honest. This one, it's one of his more consistent efforts, I would say. There's a lot to enjoy on here. And then I'll pick one off side 2 as well, which is When the Harridans Came to Call. Not often that you see the word Harridan or Harridans in a song title, but Lawrence has managed to get that in. So I'll just show you quickly inside as well. So yeah, it's really nicely packaged, as is the case with Lawrence's stuff. He takes a lot of time and care over, the positioning of graphics and things on his record sleeves. He's very well known for that. Everything's done with the utmost precision, and everything's very deliberate as well. So there we can see just all the lyrics there for all the songs printed inside. I'll give you a little peek as well at that lovely limited edition red vinyl there, my copy. So there's that. And then we've got like a poster inside here as well. Hopefully can get all that in. And it's almost been rendered really to almost be like a till receipt, which is in keeping with the whole, shopping concept that Lawrence has adopted for the record. There's some, thoughts and feelings here that have been captured by Lawrence, just again discussing various things on his mind. The first part of it is even called here The Thoughts and Opinions of Lawrence and Various Other Sardonic Lucifers. So there you go, that's that. Challenging Traditional Ideas. And then he's just got some products on here as well, and Be Brave, Don't Breed, designed to appeal to those with aesthetic sensibilities. So yeah, just some meanderings, some musings there from Lawrence himself. So that's included there in the package. But yeah, a lovely album. And if I was to say there was a song, because I'll do that, I think, for each album that I showed today, one song in particular to go and check out if you're not familiar with Mozart Estate would be Relative Poverty. See how you get on with that one. Very, very jaunty sounding, but lyrics with a lot of bite to them. And let me know how you get on if you do check that song out. If you already know this album, if you're a big fan of Lawrence, please let me know what you think of this latest effort from him. Okay, so that's starting us off. So 6 more to show. So we're going to stick with Lawrence for a little while longer, but I'm now going to be showing you something from his Felt days. So we're going way, way back now. So this is pre-novelty rock and B-side bands and all that. This is when Lawrence was very much a bit of an indie pioneer to some extent with the things he was trying to do and the aesthetic he was attempting to achieve. Very much in the indie jangle pop vein of the 1980s, building up a real name for himself and going on in later years to develop a cult following. So we've got here from 1986, Let the Snakes Crinkle Their Heads to Death. So I'm absolutely chuffed to be the owner of this record. This is another one that was gifted to me from Michelle. So these first three albums that I'm showing today are all from Michelle. So with this album in particular, I'll just give you a bit of background on it. So this is an original pressing from 1986, but it's actually a repress from that year. So when the album came out originally, the photograph here that you can see on the front was actually a photo that had all of the band in shot. So you could see Lawrence's face and everything else there, and the other band members too. But then for some reason, a decision was taken to reissue the album very quickly after its original release and go for this cropped image instead. So you can see that it's the same on the front and the back. So this here is Lawrence with this rather colourful cardigan, very distinctive belt there, and the leather gloves. And then this blurred image here at the front of the camera is actually the head of the drummer, Gary Ainge. He's like crouching down in the original photograph. So yeah, Let the Snakes Crinkle Their Heads to Death. So this was the first album that felt released on the Creation label. So they had been on Cherry Red, and then they jumped ship over to Alan McGee's label, and they served up to Alan McGee this 19-minute long, fully instrumental album of indie jangle pop, really guitar led in places. Some of it's almost like kind of like loungy, sort of quite light jazzy cocktail bar vibes to it as well. So a very interesting way for the band to kickstart their tenure on Creation. But yeah, it's an enjoyable album. There are definitely a few pieces on here that I admire a great deal. I love the piece Ancient City Where I Lived, which is track number 2, which is 1 minute and 28 seconds. I also love on here the Nazca Plain, Voyage to Illumination's lovely as well. And there is also a song on here that I love called The 17th Century. And when this album was reissued, along with the rest of Felt's catalogue in 2018, Lawrence took the decision to actually rename the album Let the Snakes Crinkle Their Heads to Death to simply The 17th Century. So he just decided to take that track title and reuse it to name the whole album. So that was something that I think he did with the benefit of hindsight, as I don't think he continued to remain a fan of this original title. But I am over the moon to have a copy of that. So yeah, Lawrence is on here just playing guitars. Obviously, as I mentioned, there's no vocals on it at all. We've got Martin Duffy on organ and electric piano, Marco Thomas on the bass, and then we've got Gary Ainge on drums and bongos as well. So yeah, really nice album, that one. And a song please to go away and check out off it would be Ancient City Where I Lived. Very, very nice piece indeed. If I was ever doing a Felt best of, then I would certainly have that track amongst my picks. And for anybody interested as well, regarding Felt, I have actually done a Felt album ranking video here at the Vinyl Sanctuary. So if you're new to the channel, or maybe you haven't watched that video, then please do go and check it out, and you can see where I ranked that album amongst the 10 studio albums that Lawrence put out as Felt, along with his bandmates. Okay, so that's that one. So now I've got one final Lawrence related record to show, again from Michelle, and then we'll move on to the next one. So this one here is a reissue. This is part of that 2018 run that I mentioned just before, and I'm delighted now to be the owner of The Strange Idols Pattern, yeah, and Other Short Stories. There we go. Fantastic, that. Really lovely album. So this one I think originally came out in, I think it was 1984. I think 84, 83, 84, something like that. But this is a reissue from 2018, and yeah, it's a really, really lovely album, this one. You know, Lawrence in full jangle pop mode. There is vocals on this one as well, some of his best lyrics. And again, you know, if you do go away and watch that Felt album ranking video, then you can see where I did rank this as well amongst my 10, well, or E10 Felt albums, I should say, that were put out. So within this reissue, you get a lovely poster here, black and white poster there of the group. So we can see there going from left to right. So we've got Gary Ainge there, then there's Lawrence, then we've got Maurice D. Bank, guitarist extraordinaire, there in the middle. Actually, no, That's Mick Lloyd there, sorry, over on the far side next to Lawrence. Mick Lloyd, then we've got Lawrence, then Morris, and then that's Gary Ainge over there on the right hand side, looking there with the leather jacket on. Who's on the drums? Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, glad I corrected that there on camera. Got Mick Lloyd over near Lawrence. He was the bass player at this time. So yeah, some excellent felt songs on here. Morris's guitar playing in particular is in full flow. Some really lovely arpeggiated guitar lines, very clean throughout. An excellent player. Got a style very much reminiscent, or has reminded me a lot over the years of Vinnie Riley from the Durruti column. So some of my favourite tracks. Oh, they're so good, these ones. Sunlight Bathed the Golden Glow is definitely worth a mention. I would also say Dismantle King is Off the Throne is an excellent felt track. Crystal Ball, Whirlpool Vision of Shame, but a very strong album throughout. And I'd say the one to go and check out from that would be, let me think, Dismantle King is Off the Throne is an excellent one. That's really gone down as I think, a firm favourite amongst many felt fans. And then we've got this rather large hype sticker there as well with just some information about the reissue. One thing that does make me laugh on here is that it mentions that on this album Gary Ainge was finally allowed to use his hi-hat. On the first two albums, because this is the third album that came out of Felt, he wasn't allowed to use any hi-hats on either Crumbling the Antiseptic Beauty, which is the debut, or The Splendour of Fear, which is the second album. It was primarily toms and other pieces of the kit, but no hi-hats until album number 3. So there you go. So just thought that was quite fun there to have actually put that on the hype sticker. So yeah, delighted with that one. So my felt collection now, in terms of vinyl, I've still got all 10 of the albums on CD, but as regards the vinyl, I've now only got one missing, which is Train Above the City. So when I did my felt album ranking video, obviously I've recorded it well before getting any of these, so I still had some bits missing. But yeah, I just got Train Above the City to get now, so I've got a nice mixture within my felt collection of both original pressings and reissues as well. So yeah, with Snakes there, I've got an original, and then with Strange Idols, I've got a nice reissue from 2018. So yeah, made up with them. Okay, so moving on to my next pick. Next acquisition for New Year, New Vinyl. This is a best of that I've got so many lovely memories of playing back in the day. Had it on CD, played it all the time. It's a brilliant period of this band's lifetime, stemming from 1990, sort of 89, 90, I think, time, the early days through to 1997, which is where it finishes up. So it's not a comprehensive overview of the entire band's output, but it's, for me personally, their golden period. And that record is Melting Pot by the Charlatans, or as they're known over in the US and North America, they're known as the Charlatans UK. So yeah, superb group. Always had a big place in my heart for the Charlatans. This is a double LP. It's not a gatefold. So there's the front and back. No inners, like, sort of sleeve or sheets or anything to show. But yeah, all killer no filler, this one for me. Every track is very enjoyable. You get the early sound of the Charlatans, which actually coincidentally in places I feel was influenced by Felt. And the lead singer of the Charlatans, Tim Burgess, has been on record many times over the years and professed his admiration and love and respect of Felt, and certainly of Lawrence as an artist. So you do hear in the latter Felt sound, when they started embracing more of a 60s vibe with organs and keyboards, stuff that's quite similar to what Dylan was doing during his, that phase of his career. I do feel like the Charlatans were picking up on that organ sort of driven sound as well from Felt and utilising it within their own musical compositions. So we start out with The Only One I Know, which will be the song to mention that I think people should go away and play. That'll be my shout out for this one. It's not my favourite Charlatan song, that's a little later on here, but The Only One I Know is just such a classic. It's like a Manchester sort of baggy sound to it, very groovy, got that brilliant organ riff in there, Hammond organ, courtesy of Rob Collins. just got a great vibe and sort of like almost like a bit of a funky feel to it. Great one to dance to. So I have to give The Only One I Know a shout out. Then as the best of works its way through, because it is chronological, you can hear the sound evolving. So Sproston Green is on here, which is the US version of that track. That's very dancey. Then we get into again another brilliant Hammond organ driven tuning in the shape of Weirdo, which is excellent. Can't Get Out of Bed is like a bit of a jangly indie guitar rocker. And then you notice as the sound develops really that they do go more into a traditional indie guitar terrain. And certainly, as I mentioned, this collection finishes up in 1997, which is really kind of, really firmly in the Britpop era by that point. And the record that the Charlatans brought out in 97, studio album, was Telling Stories. So we get a couple of tracks right at the end here of this collection in the form of One to Another, which is a Charlatans classic, absolutely brilliant track, and North Country Boy. They're both brilliant. But my favourite ever Charlatans song, which is on here, is Just When You're Thinking Things Over. That appeared on their self-titled album, and it's just a really lovely song. It's piano led, so the kind of the Hammond organ sound there isn't on display, but it's just a great piano piece, very Stonesy in sound, got a bit of a swagger to it. Tim Burgess's vocals sound brilliant on it as well. But the whole band here throughout, they're a really tight unit. The Charlatans got a great sound to them, and I really do highly recommend Melting Pot. That is such a good overview of a very, very fine career. So yeah, please do listen to The Only One I Know, but if you fancy giving a second one a go, then listen to Just When You're Thinking Things Over as well. Great stuff. Okay, so we've got, or I should say, yeah, I've got three pieces left to show here now. So this next one is an album that came out originally in 2001. So I was 19 at the time. Loved it so much when it first came out. Remember buying it on the day that it was released. I was working in the record shop at the time, and I'd heard it playing, prior to it sort of coming out on the shelves, and just immediately I was like, yeah, like as soon as this is ready to buy, I'm going to buy it. Always as well love the fact that they were from the Northwest. I mean, I'm always a big advocate, big supporter of groups that come from my neck of the woods. Same there with the Charlatans. I mean, they've got links in with sort of Cheshire and the West Midlands as well through their members, but they've always kind of been identified with the whole Manchester thing. So, but in this case here with these guys, they were very much from the Manchester area. So in 2000, the year before this album came out, another Northwest Manchester-based group, Doves, had a brilliant debut album in the shape of Lost Souls. Loved that album to bits as well. But then this album came along, and I always sort of put these two groups side by side because I think they had a very similar kind of sound. And I was watching both of them live a lot back in the day as well, in local venues and clubs and places, pubs. Very, very early days in the pubs. Actually, they didn't really stay in the pubs very long, either band, to be fair. This one certainly didn't, but I certainly watched them when they were still very much on the up and up. And the band here I'm talking about is Elbow, with their wonderful debut album, Asleep in the Back. Truly, truly stunning album, this one. A debut, so assured, so confident. This has been pressed over two LPs as well. Just got such a sweeping, grand scale to it. As I mentioned, Lost Souls would be one that I think is a good comparison to it, but this is a very special record. I do frequently, or I did in the past, and with my CDs, I'd play Doves and Elbow back to back. So now I'm very much looking forward to doing the same now that I've got Doves on vinyl, that Lost Souls album, and now we've got this one as well. I've not actually had a chance to play this yet since acquiring it, but I know these songs inside out and back to front. I listened to them so many times. But yeah, in terms of the sound, for anybody who's not familiar with Elbow, um, I've always likened them, certainly as my appreciation and knowledge of music improved. I mean, as I said, I was 19 when this came out, but the more I got into people like Peter Gabriel and Talk in particular as I got a bit older, the more I began to recognise that I feel that the sound of both Talk, certainly Mark Hollis's vocal style, and also Peter Gabriel's as well, are a big influence on the sound and the vocal delivery of Elbow's lead singer Guy Garvey. I do think there's parallels there, certainly. There's songs in here that, you know, span for several minutes. They go in lots of different directions. So there's almost like almost like a bit of a modern prog vibe to this record. It sounds beautiful, you know, great instrumentation. The playing throughout is magnificent, beautifully produced. It just sounds really cinematic. I mean, it certainly did on CD. So I'm just hoping that this is a good pressing, this one, because I think it's so this has come out on UMC. This one says there at the bottom there, UMC. I think that's part of the labeling there. Well, it's Polydor there originally as well. So I need to just check that and see, you know, if I'm hoping that's a really good pressing. So I'll take the records out and you can see the inners and things as well. But yeah, as I said, definitely not an original pressing, that one. But it's been really well packaged. It looks lovely. So we got the lyrics there, handwritten from Guy Garvey, I believe. You know, he's the primary lyricist there in the group. So you just got some, you know, his musings there written. He is a brilliant lyricist, by the way, as well. Definitely worth paying attention to what he has to say. And then we've got some photographs there of the band. So there's the Potters there together, and then Steve Jupp or Jupp. I think he's just listed on here as on drums. Yeah, got Craig and Mark Potter there. And then on this record side here, we got Pete Turner, bassist there, and then Guy Garvey there, vocals, guitar as well. Does a bit of synth on there as well, according to the personnel information harmonica. Yeah, bits and bobs on there. So yeah, two great photographs of the group, and yeah, just a really ambitious album, as I mentioned. You know, for a band to be coming out the gate with a record as assured as Asleep in the Back, I think is an achievement in itself. Elbow have gone on to become, you know, real sort of darlings critically, done very well commercially as well. You know, their stock has continued to rise over the years, and I've always been really interested and very supportive of Elbow's output. Watched them live many times, but I have to say that this record does continue to be my all-time favourite by the band. I don't personally think, in my opinion, that they ever bettered it. They've released other superb albums, but this one for me holds a very special place in my heart. Maybe I was just the right age and it was the right time for me to get into it. So favourites, Newborn is my absolute favourite on the album. It's probably my favourite ever Elbow song, to be honest, as well. That kicks off side C on this release. Powder Blue is beautiful as well. That's a real epic. Some great production choices on that track, especially with the smashing glass and things on there as well. Any Day Now is a great opener. Red is beautiful as well. And I'll also give a shout out to Presuming Dead, Rest Easy. That's another great song on there. But I would say, just to listen to one again off that, I would pick Newborn. Superb. I really feel that if you're listening to Elbow for the first time and you do connect with that track, then the chances are that you're going to connect with what the rest of this truly lovely album has to offer. So yeah, I really cannot wait to play that one. Just pick the right moment to stick that on and sit back and really enjoy that one. Okay, so I've just got two left to show now. So this one is a best of as well, and this one is actually a triple LP. So the only other triple LP that I can think of off the top of my head that I've got that's a best of, you know, a compilation would be Decade by Neil Young, but I've now got another one to go alongside it. So very happy to have it. It's an artist who I've loved their music for years and years. Had loads of their albums on CD, but as I've mentioned before on the channel, I don't have my CD collection at all now, really, other than, you know, some bits and pieces. Like I mentioned, the felt CDs before. I kept some for sentimental purposes, but the vast majority, pretty much all of it, I sold off a while back just to create some space and just to make a few quid at the time that I needed. It came in handy. So yeah, I had loads of these albums of this guy on CD, but then, funnily enough, never got any studio albums on vinyl. Still don't have any actual studio albums as yet, but I'll certainly be looking to get them in the future. But this best of is a great way to kind of get me started with listening to him on vinyl. So I'm now delighted to be showing here Lovely Creatures, which is the best of Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, 1984 to 2014. So yeah, triple LP, this one, beautifully packaged. And very similar to what I said earlier about Charlatans' Best of Melting Pot, which covers, sort of 1990 to 1997, which I think is the Charlatans' golden period. I would say here that with this 1984, 2014, this period of Nick Cave is just prime stuff. I mean, it really is. The songs on here are all superb. There isn't a weak cut on it, not a bad cut, which is what you always want with the best of. Usually, as I've mentioned before, with best ofs, they are the introduction to a band's or an artist's work, and they really should be, the very best that that person's got to offer. So with the Charlatans there, I think that was an excellent collection to get someone started with them. And this here with Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds is absolutely superb. So I'm just going to take these bits and pieces out to show. So it's very well packaged. So we've got two records there in that section. And then we've got the third one housed in the middle of the packaging. Yeah, it's been really, really well done, this one. Feels great. It's got like a nice textured sleeve on the front cover there. I'll just take that out to show first. So here we've got just a plain black cardboard sleeve there, just with some track information, photo credits, thank yous, that type of stuff there. Track listing, so that's on that. Just gives a list as well of all the different studio albums that the cuts have been taken from. And then here we get some really great photographs of former members of Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, and my word, is he played with some great musicians. So I'm going to stand up to show you this one here and try and get everybody into shot. So as you can see there, over this side we've got Blitzer Bargeld there, who started out in the industrial pioneers out of Germany, Einstürzende Neubauten, great group. So Blitzer served with the Bad Seeds for a good while, played on some brilliant albums. Got some other great members on here. Got Barry Adamson there, he played bass, he's down the bottom there. He played, obviously played in Magazine from Manchester. Over here we've got as well, I think Kid Congo Powers should be over here somewhere. See if we can get him in. There's Nick Cave. Where's Kid gone? There's Kid Congo Powers there. Near my fingers there, and he played in the Cramps and the Gun Club, two bands that I absolutely love to bits as well. So yeah, I mean, Mick Harvey is here as well, who'd played with Nick Cave in the Birthday Party, Boys Next Door. Yeah, just an absolutely brilliant list of musicians, great roster there, truly superb. Got Anita Lane there as well. So yeah, and then we've got a great black and white picture there of the man himself, Mr. Cave. So yeah, favourite tracks, wow. I mean, these are all great. This is a really well considered collection. It's not chronological, but I do enjoy it as well sometimes when you get these best ofs where they don't always go from A to B. I think it's nice sometimes to mix it up, but yeah, Tupelo is one of my all-time favourite Nick Cave tracks. That's on side A. Diana, I've always enjoyed a lot as well. Some really weird, some really weird sort of tunes on this, as you'd expect with Nick Cave. Some real sort of Dust Bowl bluesy vibes to some of them, and like just murder ballads and songs that are just really dark as well in places. You get some really great vocals throughout here from Nick Cave. Stranger Than Kindness as well, I've always loved. Red Right Hand, of course, is on here, which I used to love playing on the guitar. Made very famous again, I suppose. I've never watched it, but the whole Peaky Blinders thing introduced a whole new audience to that song. Got Where the Wild Roses Grow, the very infamous duet with Kylie Minogue. Straight to You is one of my favourites. Of course, Into My Arms, I have to mention that. An all-time Nick Cave classic from Boatman's Call. Stagger Lee to Finish is on here as well. Nature Boy, From Her to Eternity, yeah, the Weeping Song. Wow, this is a really great collection. So the Mercy Seat, I need to mention as well, is brilliant. The Ship Song. So yeah, everything on here really is really superb. I mean, I'm a huge Nick Cave fan, and I just think it's nice that I finally managed to get quite a good chunk of his music there on vinyl format. So I will in the future get round to getting some of his studio albums. I know which ones I'm going to start with because I'll just go for my favourites to begin with. But yeah, I had loads of his stuff at one point. But yeah, it's nice there to have a good chunk there of those songs ready to go. So I'm looking forward to playing that one. Okay, so we're down to my last piece here to show for this video for part one, and then as I mentioned there'll be another 7 to show in part 2. So if you're still with me, I really appreciate you giving me your time and attention. Thank you so much, and I really hope that you've enjoyed what I've shown here today in this my first video of a new year. And yeah, we'll get on to the final one. So yeah, still over the moon really to be the proud owner of this one. I don't think many copies of this box set were created. I think it was maybe limited to a few thousand. It was a US only release as well, so this is an import for me. And yeah, I've just got, I want to say a huge thank you to my family for making this acquisition possible. And they knew that I'd had my eye on it. And when I did I'm still doing my 1970s album series, which will continue, by the way, for people who are following it. I will get back to it. When I was looking at a couple of years in the 1970s, there was a couple of albums here that I'm going to show you in this set that were not eligible for inclusion because I didn't own them at the time on vinyl. So even though I love these albums to bits, I'd had them on CD for years and years, I'd never gotten around to getting them on vinyl. So I'm now delighted to have those albums from the 70s in my collection that were released at that time. There's one here from the late 60s as well. So without any further ado, I'm made up here to be showing Fruit Tree by Nick Drake, which is a box set that includes the 3 studio albums that were released in his lifetime. So those 2 aforementioned 70s albums were Brighter Later and Pink Moon. We've also got 5 Leaves Left, which came out in the late 1960s. And then there's a 4th LP in here as well called Time of No Reply, which featured previously unreleased tracks. So there we go. A 14-track collection. This is Time of No Reply, including 10 previously unreleased recordings. So there we go. So that's a fantastic picture there of Nick Drake on the front, looking very cool there, walking along with that coat there hanging from his shoulders, smoking a cigarette. And yeah, I mean, you can see here from the aging, I think this came out in 1986. There is some age wear throughout the box set, which you'll see when I show it off, but I am so delighted to own it. I have actually played this one through already. I've listened to all 4 LPs. They sound absolutely beautiful, they truly do. So this came out on Hannibal Recordings, Hannibal over here, and my understanding is that this was one of the last products to be created, in the Nick Drake sort of canon, where the original masters were used as, the to basically cut the records from. So the sound quality on this thing is absolutely incredible. The pressings are flat and dynamic. The sound is superb. There's no hiss or crackle or popping or anything like that. The instruments are separated beautifully. You can just hear it in such in a way that engulfs you, I would say. And I mean, I haven't got the most high tech or high spec system out there from a turntable, but when I was listening, I was over the moon with how it sounded. So yeah, delighted to be the owner of it. So I'm going to start picking it open now and showing you some bits. You have to bear with me because it's very carefully packaged. There's some little pieces of cardboard and things in here as well to keep it all together. So please do bear with me and I will show you what's included. I'm not even going to pick favourite tracks off this because it's got 4 albums in it. I would say personally that Nick Drake has got arguably a perfect discography. And I know that music is subjective, but the thing that always strikes me with Nick Drake, just before I start showing you bits, is that his music is so beautiful, and I do believe that there is something truly magical about what he created. That I've met musical fans of all descriptions and persuasions. People who are into funk and people that are into death metal, hard rock, classic rock, jazz, blues, folk, country, pop, you name it. And there's so many people that I meet where when you get talking about Nick Drake, people just seem to, get him or enjoy him, love him, appreciate him. So I think he has created music that transcends boundaries and genres. I think just because of the sheer beauty of what he created, that beautiful voice that he had, that sort of tremulous quality that it had, his exquisite finger picking style on the guitar with all those exotic tunings that he used, the string arrangements, orchestration of his albums, the production. There's just so many things to admire. And he only left us with 3 albums, but they are absolutely perfect. And I'm now delighted to be the owner of all of those albums in one fell swoop through the box set, and also to have the extra bits as well. So again, huge thank you to my family. It absolutely made my Christmas, and I really do feel that this will be my favourite acquisition for the collection for the foreseeable future. So I'll show you first of all the booklet that comes with the Fruit Tree box set. So it's just a close-up, or rather another angle of the picture from the front cover. It is slightly different because his head's slightly different angle. And then we get a picture there of Nick Drake on the back, which is from, I believe that was around the time of the Pink Moon recordings, that one. So that was, coming towards the end of his life. And there is just some really nice pictures in here as well. It's an early one there of Nick. There we go. I have to be very careful handling this as well. I mean, it is very sturdy. It's been beautifully packaged and everything, but I just want to be really careful with it. So it's just some photographs there. I'm just going to go through a little bit of the booklet just for anybody who's maybe never seen this before, because I don't think it's the most popular of releases really. That's why I'm so happy to have it. So this is what you get inside. So throughout here, it's it's a big sort of comprehensive overview of his career, and excuse me, you get all the lyrics here as well throughout. It's a great picture there of Nick there at the side. Really good photograph, that. Another great one of him smiling here as well. There he is smiling there on that one. So yeah, obviously lots of lyrics because there's lots of songs in here across the 3 albums. There we go. Yeah, oh, that's a cracking picture there right at the end as well. Just, yeah, there he is. So get it in there, smiling there, wrapped up there. There he is. He looks really young on that one, doesn't he, there? So look like he's in happier times there, at the start of his career. Obviously, coming towards the end with a picture like that, I think he was in a different place there in his head, and how his career had panned out at the time. But yeah, I mean, he's an icon now, and quite rightly, highly revered and loved and adored by millions of fans all over the world. So yeah, so that's the booklet. So I'll show you the actual records now. So I'm not going to rank. I mean, I mentioned before, I'm not going to choose favourite songs either, because I just think you really need to check out all the Nick Drake's albums. But what I will do is just name one song off each to go and listen to. And I'm not going to rank the albums either. I'm not going to say which is my favourite, because I actually plan at some point, now that I've got all the studio albums, to do a Nick Drake album ranking vid. So I'm going to keep that to myself for now. Okay, so here's the records then. So the way that they've been done is they've just been put in very, very thin sleeves, really. So you can see that it is a reproduction of the original album cover art, both front and back. But yeah, I have to be very careful with these because they are just very, very slim there. And then you've just got the records there inside. So yeah, they've all been played. They sound beautiful, as I say. I've got no issues with the sound of any of them. But this is such a great photograph on the back, this one. I think it just really perfectly encapsulates Nick and the whole aura that he had. You've got this person here running where time is against them, seemingly, with the way that they're running there to catch the bus or wherever they're off to. And then you've just got Nick stood almost like a man out of time, really. He's just, almost existing in his own space, and time, in a sense, stood still for him. And yeah, I just find that such a captivating photograph, that, because it's just that, that juxtaposition of someone who's desperate or needs to be somewhere, and someone there who just seems to have you know, the world just there ready for him to watch it pass by, really. So yeah, great cover, back cover photo that. And then we've got that one there of him on the front as well. So 5 leaves left. Lovely debut album. My song to pick from that one would be Cello Song. Beautiful, love it. And you can see here, you know, there are some markings and things to these records, but you know, in terms of, you know, some age wear and things as well. But as I say, I really don't mind about that. You know, they're still okay and for their age and everything. And most importantly, the music sounds amazing. So delighted with that. Okay, so then we got the next album there that he released, which was Brighter Later. Gorgeous album, great front cover. That's my favourite cover of all the Nick Drake albums. I will let that one slip. Just love, you know, the way the shoes there are put to the side. I think they're a really cool pair of shoes as well. Yeah, just a great cover, that one. And then there's the back. So yeah, it's just got some marking there on the back, but again, it plays great. So very, very vivid though overall. The colouring, I would say, on it all. You know, it looks really, really vivid and clean and sharp, given the age of the records. So, favourite song here, or one I should say, to go away and listen to, it has to be Northern Sky. Please, please do listen to Northern Sky if you don't know it. Absolutely gorgeous. A great song, I would say, to get acquainted with Nick Drake and what he's about, you know, the way his voice is used on there and just the whole twinkling instrumentation. It is truly a heavenly, beautiful, celestial song that it is just simply gorgeous, Northern Sky. It truly is. So please listen to that. So there's Brighter Later. Then we've got album number 3. So this is the third and final studio album that Nick Drake produced in his lifetime. We've got Pink Moon. There we go. So he's breaking away from having himself on the front cover on this record. He's going for something much more surreal here, something very otherworldly there, I would say, with the Pink Moon album art. And there's the back. And I'd say that of the 3 records, or the 4, I should say, you know, the colour here and the kind of the overall condition is the best on that one. And this 4th one isn't too bad either, but the other 2 got some markings and stuff to them. But yeah, that one's in really good shape visually, so that's great. So that's Pink Moon. And yeah, song to go and check out on this one, I would say, would be Parasite. Please check out Parasite. Great song on a great album. Very short album, that one. It's under half an hour. It's largely, or well, basically 99% of it, I would say, is it's just Nick Drake with a guitar singing, and then there was like one piano overdub, which is on the title track, Pink Moon. So yeah, that is a really stripped down, very candid, very naked, like emotionally naked, raw, emotional album, that one. So yeah, wonderful stuff. But yeah, it's a real emotional trip, that one. Okay, and then we've got this 4th one, which is like I believe this one is like unique or sort of special to this box set, which is Time of No Reply. So this is the record here that, as you can see, says down the bottom, 10 previously unreleased tracks, including 7 completely new songs, plus the 4 last session tracks as well. So there's some sleeve notes in there on the back. So that's that one. And just for anyone who's interested, who might not have seen that before, the 14 songs we've got on here are Time of No Reply, I Was Made to Love Magic, Joey, Claws of Sand, Man in a Shed, Mayfair and Fly. That's side 1. And then 2, we've got The Thoughts of Mary Jane, Been Smoking Too Long, Strange Meeting 2, Rider on the Wheel, Black Eyed Dog, Hanging on a Star and Voice from a Mountain. So yeah, I gave that a listen and thoroughly enjoyed listening to those songs as well. Some of them were really truly lovely. So that's the 4th and final LP in that collection. And there's that box cover again, very quickly to show you. There it is. And just got the track listings down there. Okay, so that brings me to the end of part 1 of my New Year, New Vinyl vid. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, part 2 will follow when I've got the rest of those records safely delivered to me. So the only other thing to say right now is thank you so much for listening to me today. I truly appreciate it. It really means a lot. If you did enjoy the video, then it would mean a lot to me if you were to please put a like on here. That helps to support me and helps to support the channel as well. So thank you for that. And if you are new here and you enjoyed what I did today, then please do consider subscribing as well. That would be wonderful if you did. It'd be great to have you here in the Vinyl Sanctuary and joining us in taking refuge in records. So if you do choose to subscribe, please don't forget to click the notification bell, and then that'll keep you up to date with any other content that I've got landing. So yeah, thank you very much everybody. I enjoyed doing that. It's nice to be getting back into recording videos again, so please do bear with me, and until next time, bye for now.